There is nothing worse than your kid talking back to you. It could make you feel like a horrible parent, it can make you feel ineffective, and it can make you feel really, really angry. We're going to talk about why kids talk back and how to get it to stop. Stay tuned, that's what's up next. Let's talk about 4 reasons why kids talk back. The first reason is the most obvious. Kids are powerless. They really have nothing. You are calling the shots, you are controlling the rules, and so all they have are their reactions and their words. And they know what's going to hurt you because they've been studying you for what, like 10, 15 years? So kids say some pretty ugly things. I've heard a lot of things in my practice, and I've heard some of them at my home as well. They're ugly. So you have to decide as a parent, are you going to get emotionally sucked into their words? Or are you going to be robotic and you're going to respond in a cool, calm, collect sort of way and not give them the reaction they're looking for? It's better to not give them their reaction because that tends to end that behavior pretty quickly. I'll give you an example. So every parent, unless you're Mother Teresa, and she didn't even have any kids, I don't think, so it doesn't even matter about that. But every parent is going to have a child at one point or another is going to say those lovely 3 words. I hate you. I hate you so much. Well, that's a little bit more than 3 words. But you probably have heard that. Or maybe if you're like, ugh, my kids have never said I hate you to me, give it time. Because eventually, most kids are going to say that to their parents. That doesn't mean you're doing a horrible job. It means you're setting limits. Now, how you respond to words like that will make or break whether that behavior continues. And so in my house, I can remember almost to the day when each one of my 3 children said I hate you to me. My oldest, who's 13, she only said I hate you about a month ago. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good track record. And then she denied that she ever said it after she felt better. So whatever. All 3 of my kids don't say it. They've only said it like 1 or 2 times because my reaction was this. You can hate me, I love you, but you're still in trouble. Or you still need to go to your room. Or you still need to clean your room. Or you still need to blah, blah, blah. I was completely robotic and non-reactive. And that is the way that you want to be. When your kids say horrible things, and they might say a lot worse than that. They might say, you're the worst parent in the world, or this is why nobody likes you. This is why dad doesn't like you. I mean, they can get probably pretty nasty. You want to not respond to what they're trying to provoke in you, and instead stay the course and go back to the thing that you're actually talking about. So if they're upset about being grounded, or they're upset because you're redirecting them, don't be sidetracked and distracted and fall into that black hole of Suckersville because that's what they want. And even if consciously they're not plotting and planning how to divert your attention, it is what they're doing. So stay the course, stay robotic, and tell them that they're still in trouble and that you love them, but they still need to do what they need to do. That's point number 1. On to number 2. Tip number 2, consequence it and don't respond to it. Now, I know we just talked about not responding to it in the last point, but this is a little bit different. I mean, literally do not respond. If my kids talk to me in a rude, disrespectful way, and I'm not talking about like when we're in an argument, I'm talking about they want milk and they're like, I want more milk, because that kind of happens a lot in my house. I have big milk drinkers. I don't know why. It's bizarre. They drink so much milk. We buy like gallons at a time. But anyway, I will not respond. And so my littlest, who's 5, she's like the one that's in training. And my 7-year-old and my 13-year-old, they don't talk like this at all because they've already had their training. So if my 5-year-old is like, I want milk, I say to her, milk please. Mom, can I have some milk please? And if she does not say it in that way, I'm deaf. Milk is not coming. The other thing that I want to mention is that if you have a disrespectful kid and they're talking back to you, so we were just talking about a kid who's just, impolite, they're just demanding, or you don't like the way they're talking to you. So in that situation, you just don't respond. You literally don't get what they want until they say it in a nice way. And I always talk for kids, so I always do that whole milk please, and that's probably super annoying to my kids. But if they're seriously talking back, I'm not doing that or whatever. You want to discipline that right away. A lot of times parents are like, ugh, Natasha, you should hear how he talks to me. But they don't do anything about it. I said, what happened to him when he said that? That was appalling. I don't know. I think I yelled back. No. Be robotic, like we talked about in tip number 1, and then it has to be disciplined. And if it's easier to do a 3 strikes, you're out because they talk back to you so much, start with that. 3 strikes, you're out. Every time you talk back to me, you're getting a strike. When you get 3 strikes, you lose all electronics. You want to train them to talk to you in a certain way. I know that sounds kind of stupid and demeaning, but what is allowed will continue. So if it's not allowed and it's consequence, guess what's going to happen? Eventually it's not going to continue. Tip number 3, you cannot have a do as I say, not as I do mentality. That's just not fair. I know you're the parent and I know you're the one in charge, but if you're going to be super disrespectful to your kid, I'm sorry, but guess what's going to happen? They're going to be disrespectful to you too. It's going to happen. So treat your kids with respect, and they are more likely to treat you with respect. Not always. Some kids are just mouthy, and then you got to do tip number 2, and you got to consequence it. But you want to model respect. You want to model a respectful conversation, a respectful interaction. And that doesn't mean that you have to be soft, because I can talk in a very calm way and say, that's strike 3. I'm sorry you made that really bad choice. You lost all electronics for the next 24 hours. And then if my child's like, I hate you, that's not fair. I'm sorry, but you made a bad choice. That's not fair. Okay, if you continue to scream, then you're going to get strike 1 second set. I know, that's how I parent. But you know what? I don't have to do that often because I am non-reactive. I'm not being abusive. I'm not saying, shut up or get the heck over here. I don't even know. I can't even come up with an example because I don't talk that way. And it's not that I'm Mother Teresa. I don't know why she's like a big topic in this video, but it's just because I'm respectful to people. I'm respectful to the people I work with. Like, I'm just a naturally respectful person. And I am going to be respectful to my kids as well. And I can calmly discipline them and they listen because it's not how I'm saying it. It's what I'm saying that counts. So be respectful to your kids. Don't curse at them. They're going to curse back. Last tip for today, tip number 4, this is kind of a sad one. If your partner is verbally abusive, then your kids might copy your partner's behavior. And that's a bummer because you're already apparently in a pretty bad relationship if someone's verbally abusing you. And then your little people are hearing this and they're going to emulate that because kids are sponges. They just copy what's around them. So if you cuss, they're more likely to cuss. And, it's always funny when parents come up to me and they're like, I don't know, but my son just dropped the F-bomb in preschool. And then I'm like, F-bomb? Where did he hear that? And they're like, oh, well, we use the F-bomb all the time. But that's not appropriate for him. Well, he's 4, so he's not like, okay, they're like 34 and I'm 4 and I'm watching Sesame Street, so I should probably not be dropping the F-bomb. No, they're just like, they're sponges. They're learning language. And so they're going to say whatever they hear. Unfortunately, that means if your partner or other people around you are treating you like crap, your kids might treat you like crap too. I'm sorry, that's true. So then you want to address the primary problem, which is not your kids, it's your partner. To sum up, you want to give no reaction when your kids are trying to poke, poke, poke and let you pop. So no reaction. You want a consequence talking back. You want to be disrespectful, deaf, and not get them what they want when they're talking to you in a disrespectful way. You want to practice what you preach. You want to be kind to your kids, even when you're disciplining them, so that they can see how it's modeled and they can be respectful back to you. And lastly, you better get that partner in check, because if he's disrespectful or she's disrespectful to you, guess what your little people are going to be doing? The same thing. So I hope that you can get that disrespect and talking back out of your house. Maybe those little tips will help you. And I hope you have an amazing day. If you like this video, please hit like. That is helpful feedback for me. And don't forget to subscribe because these videos will be coming out every Thursday and you don't want to miss one. If you haven't checked out my website, visit anxioustoddlers.com. And I write about all sorts of parenting for all ages, and you can check that out. If you haven't gotten enough of me, you can always check out my podcast and take me on the road or take me to the gym. It's AT Parenting Survival Podcast, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Until next time, I hope you find the sparkle in every day. Take care. Bye-bye.